What if clean energy didn't just come from the sun, but also, surprisingly, from something as common as rain? We're taking a deep dive into the fascinating world of hybrid solar rain systems, and we're looking specifically at Cranston, Rhode Island today. Using the sources you sent over, our mission is really to pull out the key insights on the tech viability, how it aligns with climate goals, and of course, the economics. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Power from rain. I mean, it sounds almost like science fiction. How does that even work? Capturing energy from a raindrop.
Yeah, it does sound a bit out there at first, but what's fascinating here is the core technology. It's combining, standard solar panels with something pretty new called triboelectric nanogenerators. TANs for short.
Yeah, GANs. Okay.
Right. And these capture energy from the actual impact of the raindrops. It works through something called charge separation. Think of like rubbing a balloon on your hair, that static electricity.
Ah, okay. Like that.
It's a similar idea, yeah, but way down at the microscopic level. So when a raindrop hits the tang surface, it momentarily separates positive and negative charges, and that generates an electrical potential.
And is it? A lot of potential.
Well, per droplet, we're talking potentially -5 to -10 kilovolts. Now, that sounds huge, but it's really about the collective effect of many drops over the surface. It's not, replacing the grid overnight, but it's about adding this extra layer, this resilience from something like rain.
Okay, so it's harnessing the physical impact, not just the water itself. That's a really key difference. And you mentioned Cranston, Rhode Island. Why there? What makes it such a good fit?
Exactly. Cranston's climate is, well, it's remarkably good for this. They get around 49 inches of rain annually. That's about 25% above the U.S. average.
Wow, that much higher.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that means these tangies could potentially be active, generating some power for roughly 129 days out of the year. And there's this great synergy, too. The rain actually cleans the solar panels. Your sources suggest that can boost the solar output by as much as 15% right after a storm.
That's a huge cleaning benefit, just naturally.
It is. And crucially, these hybrid systems, they're designed to keep producing something, maybe 10 to 20% of their capacity, even when it's overcast or actually raining. That's a definite edge over standard solar panels, which really need that direct sun.
Right, which obviously struggle in the rain. So that dual benefit power and cleaning sounds really compelling. How does this translate to, say, a real-world project? Is there an example in Cranston?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Take the Sharp Drive solar project there. It's a great case study. It already has these elevated racks.
Okay.
They were originally built that way to deal with flood risks, actually, because the ground was contaminated. They couldn't bury cables.
Yeah.
But that elevation, it turns out to be kind of perfect for adding rain capture tech underneath, or integrated.
Huh, like a happy accident.
Sort of, yeah. And adding tangs there could potentially offset maybe 8 to 12% of those seasonal dips in solar output you always see, especially in the darker, wetter months like November through March. Cranston gets over, 4.2 inches a month then, on average?
So it helps smooth out that production curve over the whole year, makes it more reliable.
Exactly. More consistent.
Okay, this tech sounds really promising, especially for a place like Cranston. But it can't all be smooth sailing. What are the hurdles, the challenges standing in the way of, wider adoption?
Right, and that's an important question. It's still experimental tech. We have to remember that.
Yeah.
One key challenge is the Tang surface charge. It dissipates pretty quickly, often in under 6 hours.
Oh, okay. So you need to use it or store it fast.
Pretty much. You need immediate use or efficient transfer to a battery. And then there's the economics. Adding this rain tech, it does increase the cost. Your sources estimate for a typical 6-kilowatt home system, the price might go from around $15,360 up to over $17,000.
So that pushes back the payback time.
It does. It extends that return on investment, the ROI,
Yeah.
from maybe 7 years or so up to maybe 8.5 to 9 years. Plus, right now, federal incentives, they cover solar, but they don't really cover this experimental rain harvesting part yet.
Okay, so you've got tech hurdles, cost hurdles, policy hurdles. What does this all mean for Cranston's energy future then? How do you get from promising experiment to actual implementation?
Well, connecting the dots from the sources, the suggestion is a path forward, starting with pilot programs, maybe installing some 50-kilowatt rain panel arrays, perhaps at places like Sharp Drive or another site, Phoenix Avenue was mentioned, just to get more real-world data.
Right, testing it at scale.
Exactly. And critically, pushing for policy updates in Rhode Island, like expanding their renewable energy growth program so it specifically includes precipitation harvesting.
So making it official, incentivizing it.
Precisely. And the potential outcomes, if this works out, are pretty substantial. We could be looking at an extra 400 megawatt hours per year for Cranston by 2030. And there's another fascinating angle, potentially reducing storm-related grid outages by about 12%.
How does rain power help with outages?
Through decentralized storage. The idea is the energy captured from the rain could be stored locally, maybe in small batteries right at the sites. That gives you backup power exactly when the main grid might be stressed or down during bad weather.
That really paints a picture of a city potentially leading the way, thinking about climate resilience in a new way. So you've heard how even just rain falling, something we barely think about, could maybe be turned into power, not just a nuisance, but maybe a key part of a more resilient energy system.
Yeah, the very idea of capturing energy from something so common like a raindrop, it does suggest a future where our grid is, well, more robust, definitely more adaptable,
Yeah.
and maybe less dependent on just one single source.
And that leads to a really interesting thought to leave you with. As we keep innovating for energy, what other natural things we overlook every day, might hold surprising keys to powering our future? We hope this deep dive gave you some food for thought.